Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Just want to welcome everybody to another episode of This Brother Talk. Got a special guest today, and I'm gonna go ahead and bring him on in. Terrell, welcome to Brother Talk this week.
What's up? What's up, cuz? Thanks for having me, man.
No problem. Thank you for coming on, man. You know, it's always a pleasure to meet up with you and talk to you and all that good stuff. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
uh, it's a lot that we can talk about, a lot that we can discuss. We can go back in the day. We can talk about today's game, all this type of stuff. So we just gonna jump right into it, man. What we're gonna do is, everybody knows, how great your career was, how great of a player what you were. You know, you played at Clemson from '95 to '99. And then you had a professional playing career from '99 to 2011 before you retired. So I would say that's a pretty good career. So how's the family doing? Everybody doing good and all that good stuff?
Man, the family good. Family good. Kids good. Christy good. Everybody just chilling, working, just taking it day by day, man.
That's what's up, man. Hey, so let's talk about what you got going on today. What are you doing after basketball?
Right now, currently, I'm the director of player development for Clemson men's basketball.
Okay, all right.
And what that entails is until last year, it wasn't what player development what you might think. Player development, you think you on the court doing the skill work and developing the guys. It wasn't up until last year I was able to do those type things. Before then, it was more developing off the court. I did a lot of stuff, mentorships, a lot of community service. I deal with a lot of administration on campus with the guys academically. So there's a lot of different things that go into it, not just with the sport aspect of it.
Yeah. So with how does it feel to be back at Clemson? You know, you played there 4 years. You had a great career. Hey, a lot of people might say that you to go to Clemson. So
It's in a discussion. It's in a discussion. But no, it's good. It's good to be back, man. They welcome me back with open arms, like I never left. A lot of things are still the same. A lot of people are here that's still the same that was here when I left, and that's just a testament to like how they do things around here in Clemson. They try to keep a close knit family, so to speak, and you could feel that. And they showed me that love coming back. So my transition wasn't really that hard, to be honest with you, because I knew a lot of people here already. I knew the coaching staff already. I had a good building a good relationship with Barnell before I even came. So for him to offer me the job and to be back at Clemson, I thought about it, but it didn't take long to convince me to come back.
Yeah, I know. I know. I remember. You had hit me up one time, and you was telling me you were thinking about going into coaching. Which I felt like that might be a good transition for you because the game of basketball. Not a lot of people can play it, but to know it and be able to instruct someone, because like you got to be a leader. Amongst young men to be able to do that, you got to have a voice, and so I felt like you could do something like that.
Yeah, you're right. You got to have a voice, but you also got to have that trust with them. Like players, they got to understand that, and it made my job easy because they know I've been through it. So when I talk to them, I build them relationships first before I start digging into them as far as what they need to do on the court or off the court. I get to know them, get the relationship going. So when we do talk, it's a trust factor.
Gotcha.
They're not scared to share information with me because they know they can trust me, and they know I'm gonna give them my honest opinion. They know I've been through the wars that they're currently going through. I've been through all of them, and like you said, sometimes as a player, you don't know if you could coach. You could play the game, but you don't know if you could tell somebody what to do.
Yeah.
But I always felt like no matter what sport I played, what team I was on, I was always trying to be in a leadership role.
Well, I can agree with you on that because I played with you, and you're 3 years older than me, so we grew up in the backyards on the hill playing ball, around that cowboy them house, and playing the up church, and that's one thing that I've always known about you. If I needed some advice, I could always go to you, and you're one of the ones that kind of taught me just because I get on you doesn't mean that I got a problem with you. I'm just trying to make you better.
Yeah.
And so anytime you told me something, it was always in respect And I think, and I don't know if you remember, I think me and you might have had one, like, I ain't even gonna say altercation, but we had some words one time. And I don't know if you remember this. It was down at Purnell Sweat. I think
my senior your freshman year, my senior year.
Yeah, we was at remember we was at Purnell Sweat, and it was packed, man. It was slam packed, and you were penetrating and pitching. And I mean, we had done this all year, and them balls were going in the rim and coming back out. And I think you had the University of Oklahoma there to see you.
And what made it big too, Wake Forest was there.
Yeah, Wake Forest was there too. And at halftime, I knew who was going to be there. And like, I knew just off, you playing well. If I knock down shots, I'll get somebody to look at me as a freshman and go on from there.
Right.
And so, at the same time, I wanted to make sure that I did what I was supposed to make you look good. And those shots were just going in the rim and coming back out. You came in at halftime, and I'm already pitched with myself. And you came in, you said something to me, and I think I turned around like, man, the shot's just going in, and I think that's the only time that me and you might have had some words. And then I thought, I think I earned I had your respect, but I earned more respect because I came out the second half. I could have had 30 that game, I believe.
Yeah.
And I hit my next 3 or 4 threes because I was like, you know what? Terrell got on me. And then, Coach McGugan came in and said, Tony, keep shooting. And then you came to me, you like, hey, man, I ain't getting on you. I said, I understand. I'll knock down the rest of them. I don't think I missed a shot after that.
You was hot. You was a shooter. And what made it different is I knew you your whole life. We knew each other our whole life. You know what I'm saying? So I knew the opportunity you had in front of you as a freshman that I didn't have as a freshman because I didn't have nobody getting recruited.
Yeah.
So I wanted you, I wanted Tion, I wanted y'all because I knew the potential and the talent that y'all had.
Yeah.
And they see you as a freshman starting, getting 25 when they really coming to see me. And I'm trying to get on you to get, because I knew the potential. I knew I've been playing with you my whole life. So I knew what you could do out there and you weren't doing it. So I knew I had to get on you and to light that fire up on the end. And what happened? The second half, you went off.
Yeah, I mean, that turned out to be a great game. Like, we ended up beating Purnell Sweat because, I mean, we used to have some battles with those teams and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like, that's one thing that I've always respected about you. Like, whenever you came at me, it was always out of respect. Like, you could give me constructive criticism and I could take it because, it's the way that you presented it. And I understood the fire that you had that night because, it was, you were being recruited. You wanted me to get recruited. I mean, it was good for everybody. So like, and I understood. I think that might be the only time me and you ever had some words.
We done got into it a few times. Not into it, but even you seen it when you was at Belmont Abbey, and you remember I used to drive up there every day to play pickup with y'all.
Yeah.
And your teammates used to get mad because the competitors that we both had, and then we played on the same team.
Yeah.
We never lost because we both wanted to win so bad.
Yeah.
So it's just in us, man, that competitive spirit. And that's one of the things about it is you got to be able to separate it from the court and then off the court. Because I'm like two different people, to be honest with you. Everybody know that. Like on the court, I'm crazy talkative, going crazy, getting pissed off. I want everything to be perfect. I'm playing hard. I want you to play hard.
Yeah.
I'm diving on the floor. You better be diving on the floor.
Exactly.
So if I'm bringing it on the court, you better be bringing it too if you're gonna play with me. If not, I'm gonna let you know about it. And that's something different than from my normal who I am as a person. Like I'm more laid back, quiet guy. I'm chilling, but on the court, I'm not that kind of guy.
Yeah, and I've told many people this right here. Like, you're one of the most humble guys off the court, but on the court, I mean, you got to be a dog. Like, I mean, people don't realize if you didn't, then you wouldn't have had the career that you had at Clemson and then overseas. Because being 5'9", and we're gonna talk about this in a few minutes. Growing up in the era that we grew up in, we had to be tougher than everybody else because we've always played against people that were 6'4", 6'4", 6'5". I remember. You remember we used to play against 71st. Hey, Terrell, my freshman year, the tallest person we had was Goot, Rodney Easton, 6'2".
Goot 6'2".
6'2", and then their point guard was 6'5", wasn't
he? Yeah,
you know,
Ryan Anderson was like 6'6". You had Larry Murphy like 6'3".
Yeah,
Stevenson brothers 6'7".
Yeah.
So I mean, it just what it was. We always had that underdog mentality. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we always had to play with toughness. We grew up in the neighborhood we grew up in. You know, we was always the youngest one out there. You know, playing against Rico and our older cousin Stacy, and then going out to the bottom of the hill playing against the Hill boys, Bucci and Wandale and all them boys, man. Like they made us tough, and that just stuck with me and stuck with us actually, and made us who we were. That's why we was able to be what we did when we left Rayford in our university. You was able to dominate at Belmont Ave. I was able to come to Clemson and produce right away because I was ready. I could handle all the tough things that needed to be done because at my size, you have to have something extra to stand out, especially at this ACC level.
Yeah, you definitely had to. So we're going to come back to talking about playing, but I just want to ask you a question. How was coaching during the pandemic? I know, we had COVID going on. They had all these protocols. You're on the bench. You having to recruit. You having to do player development. How was that? I know it was kind of tough.
It was tough. It was tough for the fact that we was testing every day. We was testing every day. We couldn't do nothing. We had to have masks on every day, even in practice. It was just tough the guys couldn't have no life. So when they came, you're dealing with guys whose mental space is not where it should be because they locked up in their room all the time except for when they at practice or at the gym.
Yeah.
So
and your families really couldn't go nowhere either, right?
Say what?
Your families really couldn't do anything either, right?
Everybody was really on lockdown together. So everybody was in this light little bubble because we got tested. And if one person tested positive, then the whole team shut down. As you can see what happened to us, we had 2 pauses this year because of COVID. And it hurt us because before the first pause, we was ranked 12.
Yeah.
We was really well. And the pause came and we lost our momentum. We lost our mojo because we was down for like 10 days. And during basketball season, basketball is a rhythm sport. You got to keep your rhythm going. You got to have your rhythm at a good spot every time. If your rhythm not good, you're going to have a bad stretch because the games are coming quick. It's not football where you got a week to prepare. So your rhythm really don't have to be that great. But basketball, you have to be in great rhythm because you got games after game after game coming. And for us to miss a couple games and not being able to practice and it cost us. It cost us. So it was really tough to answer your question.
Yeah, I know because people don't realize like me and you first cousins. We don't talk every day, but like when we do talk, it's almost like we talked yesterday and we just pick back up where we come from and all that stuff. But I kept up with y'all on I follow y'all, I follow you, and I made sure I seen how everything was going. And I know at one point in time, like you said, y'all was 12, right?
Yep.
And it was, I liked y'all team because you remember a few times we had talked and you was telling me like, it's tough because, trying to drill something to kids and get them to understand it. And then you got pauses and stuff and that kind of breaks that cycle.
Yeah, it does because you have no contact. You can't even come to the gym. You're doing this right here on the Zoom, and basketball can't be played on a Zoom call.
Yeah.
You're
right.
Like, it just can't happen. Like there's not football where you meeting 10 times a week. Basketball, you have to be on the court. They have to see that, and they have to physically go against the contact to be able to go. Because the other teams, they didn't stop. They motors kept going, and ours stopped and slowed down, and and that's what hurt you. You know, so after the second pause, we did a little better because we kind of knew what to expect. But throughout the whole year, man, it was tough. Even when we went to the NCAA tournament and we was in Indianapolis, man, we was there for a week, and only time we left out the hotel is go to the game. They had the court set up inside the hotel in the ballrooms where we practiced inside the hotel. So we didn't feel no fresh air for like a week. You know,
Yeah.
as it hurts everybody. That's why you see all the upsets, because the situation of the pandemic was just tough to play in.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine, like, just watching it and seeing how everything was. I can just imagine how it was. Hey, so before we move on, we got a couple of questions. I said, I'll let people ask you a couple of questions they wanted to ask. And Sabrina said, where was your favorite place to play?
My favorite place to play, on a team or like just to play in general.
Just to play in general.
Well, my favorite was Madison Square Garden my senior year in college, because that's the Mecca. I always wanted to play in that arena. So to be able to play a couple games back to back in that arena was probably the best for me, because that was a gym that I always wanted to play in because of the hype and the history behind it. So that was one of the places. And then playing in Italy was a special place. My daughter was born there. I probably had my best years as a professional over in Italy. So Siena, Italy probably was the other place.
All right. Okay. And it was just a place to play. So one last question. One other question said, do you have any advice for kids transitioning to play overseas? What should they expect?
They should expect it not to be easy. I think it's a misconception about European and being overseas, that it's just okay. I'm gonna just go over here because NBA didn't work out, or this didn't work out, or I'm playing here. I'm gonna just go overseas. It don't work like that. So you got to prepare yourself. As if you're going overseas, you're considered a professional. You're a professional because you're getting paid to do a job. So you got to treat it as if you're in the NBA. If you want to be at a high level in Europe, your mentality got to be as you preparing for the NBA. And when my career started to take off overseas, I started to prepare that way. So the biggest thing is prepare like you're here in the States. And the other thing, just be ready to adjust on the fly, because it's a lot of different cultures in Europe, and you have to adjust to a different way of life and the way people live over there. So just being able to adjust on the fly and to prepare as if you was trying to make it to the NBA.
Yeah, well, you know what, and it's funny you say that, because I tell people this all the time about you. Like, whenever I talk sports, and I was coaching AAU, I would tell people about you, because I always say this right here. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
Yeah.
Because when you came out of Clemson in '99, and I'm not saying this because you in front of me and because you my cousin, we keep it real with each other.
Yeah.
I felt like you should have been drafted.
Yes.
And we grew up in a time, Terrell, where when you came out, that's whenever they started going to bigger point guards.
Exactly.
And so you just weren't lucky in that aspect. You were better than a lot of them. It just, you didn't fit the mold at that time. And you could have been one of those people that said, I just give up, went on and not had a great career. But you came back for a little bit and tried to play in the D League before it became the G League. You gave that a shot, and you seen how political it was. Yeah. And you decided that, I'm gonna go ahead and make this, my career overseas. And I think that's a testament to you, because you could have easily, crumbled and fell apart and not had the career that you had.
Yeah, like I agree with you. The era I came up in didn't fit who I was as a player. If I wanted to make it to the NBA, if I was coming out of college at this moment and played the way I played in my senior year, I'd be drafted 100%. And I felt like I was going to get drafted. And the one thing about me is I love to play. I love to play sports. You know me, on my whole life. If anybody from Rayford that know me, they know what I'm about, and that's sports. I did that my whole life. So it was the same way when I left. I was depressed for like 2 years. My first 2 years overseas, I was depressed because I wasn't in the NBA. It wasn't until I came home to try to do the G League to try to get back that I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go and have me a great career It don't have to be the NBA. Once I shook that off me, and I just got back to loving the grind of hooping and sports, and every day was loving to get up and go to the gym and work out and get shots up and play pickup and prepare for seasons and go through the season. Once I got back into that mode, I was able to take off, because if I could play to this day, I would still play. You know, you don't have to pay me to do that, because I've been doing it my whole life and I love to do it. So the NBA, once I shook that NBA off me, I was able to get my focus back in hooping. And I didn't care about if I made the money or not. I just want to go out there and play well. I'm gonna make sure I'm prepared, so I'm gonna play well, and I don't care where it is.
Yeah. And I know that because when you came back and played with the Patriots, I mean, you took a real big pay cut, and I felt like
once you in Fayetteville, so I ain't made nothing in Fayetteville. I had to go to the funny house and my mama, y'all cook me something now. When I take the cooking for me, going home to mama's house to eat.
Yeah. Hey, trust me, I know. I wasn't. Me and you used to talk sparingly about stuff, and I saw what you went through, and I felt like the G League thing is what kind of made your career after that, because you remember you played with the Hornets then. They was in New Orleans, and then it was just so happened they signed, and I won't call his name, they signed him to that long-term deal, that guaranteed contract, and you actually had beat him out, and then you was like, I know I'm better than these guys. I know I am.
Bryce Drew.
Yeah, Bryce Drew. Yeah.
I played against him overseas, and I like Bryce. He was good. He's a really good guy. But I knew when I left there the real politics of the league, because I was the last cut. I was getting in before Bryce Drew had just signed a 5-year, like $30 million contract or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. But it was a really good contract at the time for a backup, and he wasn't better than me as basketball.
He wasn't. It
wasn't, and that was proven there that he wasn't a better basketball player than me, and it showed when I played against him in Europe. But it just that proved to me like it's the business side. That's when I started to understand that it's truly a business, because they don't go by who's the best players and who got the most talent. They go by other situations that's who coached this guy, who his dad know, or who this person know, or I'm gonna get this guy a shot, or it was a lot. It was a lot that went into it. Actually, Lee Nayland, they had got rid of him because he had got into it with Paul Silas. So it was actually a roster spot open, and they said they had somebody on the books that had just retired. Ballard, I think he do TV with Houston right now, but Ballard or something like that. And that really opened my eyes, because they told me to go back to the G League my second year, because I was going to go overseas and just go back after that happened, because I knew, I was like, you know what, I did this out of college, and now I'm here. I did the G League twice, D League once, second team all D League, so that means 10 players. I'm top 10. I'm top 10 players in the league.
Yeah.
If you make I'm second team all G League. I mean, every team I play on, I'm effective. I'm a produce, and I'm gonna be one of the best players on the team, if not the best player on the team. So if that happened, no matter where I go, I know I would have went to the NBA, and with a shot, I would have stuck and played or had a long career.
Yeah. Hey, one last question, Terrell, and then we're gonna move on to the next thing right here. Right. Tracy Mack said, "What advice would you give his son going from high school to college playing basketball?"
One of the things I tell our guys all the time is, what made you good in high school will make you good in college. And I think people think just because you're going from a different level, I'm not going to be able to do this in high school. In college. Yeah, if you're good at something in high school, it would translate to college. But it's going to be harder and to work on your craft. And I think that's one of the things that these young kids today, they play so many AAU games that they forget to work on their crafts. They do it so much for showing it on Instagram, showing one clip on Instagram, and then going to sit down and talking for 30 minutes. And they showing 2 minutes of work on a minute of work on Instagram, and it's not enough.
Yeah.
Continue to work on your craft and to believe that what you're good at in high school would translate and make you the same kind of player in college if you're dedicated to your craft. So,
yeah, I agree with you, and that's what some of them don't realize. I tell people, like, whatever you got, and then if you want to go to the next level, you got to do something great. Like, you can't just be mediocre and a whole bunch of stuff. You got to do something great, like, because college and NBA and college and professional is totally different. Not just the NBA. Professionally is totally different because you start having to play different roles. You might not be the guy on that team. You might have to be the setup guy. You might have to be the shooter. You might have to be the energy guy. And that's what people fail to realize.
Yeah, it's going from college to pro is a different story. Going from high school to college is not too. I mean, it's hard, but you know how it goes. Once you get there, you like, all right.
Yeah.
It ain't no thing. You know what I'm saying? So, but going from college to pro is a different beast because, like you said, now it's you don't have the classes involved. It's all this your job, and nobody's holding your hand, telling you when to work out, telling you this, telling you that. Everything has to be a mindset, a pro mindset, and a growth mindset, and that's where kids get lost in the shuffle because they don't have that.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna move to the next topic, and me and you both. I had this conversation with Eric last night. Me and him talk about it all the time. Whenever we were coming up, it was a totally different era.
Yeah.
And this era now, if you and I played, me and him was talking. He said we get 60 million easily. Because like, how would you like playing in this era? No physicality, no real bigs. Terrell, listen, I watched you, score 55 in high school, and it was mostly mid-range, getting to the basket, free throws, a few threes. Yeah. But just imagine Steph Curry took 21 threes the other night. Just imagine playing in this era and all you do is shoot threes. Because and I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna let you go on. A lot of people say, "Oh, we never seen anything like this before. Like, nobody can shoot like this." And I tell people all the time, I disagree because I've seen it before. It's just I haven't seen it like somebody just constantly take threes. Just so us playing in this era where all we do is shoot threes and we know we can shoot. How would you like playing in this era?
I would love this era. My game was made for this era, man, because for one, the bigs, when we played, we had two bigs. A four-man was a big. He was in the paint. There's no space. You know what I'm saying? There's no space on the court. There's no space in the floor. Now it's all the space. Everybody can shoot. The space is spread out. So if you got a person that can get to the basket as well as shoot threes, and the offensive player that I was a scoring point guard. In our era, they didn't really like that too much. They wanted me to be a setup guy, and I wasn't that. I wasn't that kind of player. I'm going to get buckets. That's what I'm trying to do, and that's the way I play. So playing in this era, for sure, we would be set. Our family be set. I tell you that if I was in this era.
Yeah, because I mean, I watched you. Terry just put it up here, and I was about to say something about it. I watched the clipping of you went 10 for 10 from three overseas, some years ago, and just imagine if you average 21 threes a game.
Yeah. Just imagine shoot that many threes in a game, and just imagine even that. That was like 06. That was before social media. Just imagine if I go 10 for 10 for threes and it's 2021.
Yeah, exactly. You blow the internet up. You blow social media up.
The internet. So now you got the eyes watch you, and when you're in EuroLeague killing. So when I had a chance to come back, it would have been like to a straight contract and not try to like sign me for peanuts just because you think I just want to play in the NBA.
Yeah.
So, I was able to turn that down, but to go 10 for 10 for three, if I'm able to shoot like that when I was young and when I was in college, to be able to shoot like that, I mean, I shot a lot then. So imagine if I could shoot when I want and I had the space to create, and it was a more up-tempo style of play the way it is now, like they getting shots up in the first 10 seconds. Everybody.
Yeah.
It's certain coaches, it's certain teams back then, you like, okay, this team is running and they playing fast. Everybody else, it was a grind out style in our era. It wasn't fast paced. It wasn't to Phoenix Suns. D'Antoni brought that style up, and that was the mid to late like 2010.
Yeah.
So imagine if everybody played like that the way they playing now. It was up and down. So you're getting more possessions in the game. The people that understand basketball understand what I mean. You get more possessions in the game. So you get more opportunities to get shots.
Yeah.
When we walking it up and running out the whole shot clock. Now, if I'm shooting every 10 seconds, I'm getting a lot more shots up because the game is going like this. You know, and that's what it is today. So, I just think the opportunity is endless for guys today to make it if they got skills to shoot as well as drive.
Yeah, and I bet you don't know this. I watched a podcast the other day that was interviewing Ray Allen. A friend sent it to me. Ray Allen averaged 6 threes a game for his career. 6 threes a game for his career. Guess how many players in the NBA now average 6 threes a game?
Probably 100.
It's somewhere close to that. Like averaging 6 threes a game.
Because you can shoot in today's game, you can shoot 6 threes and a half.
Exactly. You might shoot 6 and a quarter.
Yeah, the pace of the game and they don't want you shooting. They trying to eliminate the mid-range game with all this analytics and everything. So they want you to either shoot a layup, a free throw, or a three. They don't really value the mid-range game no more. So to be able to just shoot threes, if you can't get to the basket, like they passing up layups to kick out for threes.
Yeah.
So it would the way we was able to shoot, it would have been it could have been what we averaged back then. We could probably add on about 7 or 8 points to that.
Yeah, and then what people fail to realize too is, Terrell, we used to put hands on people. Give you, a forearm every now and again, just and guide you and stuff. Now you can't touch anybody. Yeah. Like I know how you handle the ball. I was a little bit more simple with it. Like I'm just gonna pull up and go from there. Where you might break somebody down, step back, all that good stuff. But like if nobody can touch you, nobody can touch you. And because like now. You got guys 5'9", 5'10", 6 foot. Like you ain't got to shoot over the top of a 6'6" person. You ain't got to guard somebody 6'6". And I just feel like your game would have translated great in this era right here. I think we grew up in the wrong era. Yeah. Because we grew up in a big man era. Now it's a guard and shooting, oriented league now.
Yes, for sure. Like you said, like you can't touch them. We could put forearms and the guys is bigger, and you going in when you driving. It's a 6'8", 270 guy in there, 2 of them. Now everybody's on the perimeter, so you beat your man, and the helpers got so far to come to help that you can see the passes a lot easier than you could when they try to just funnel you inside the paint at being at a small size to be able to pass them balls outside. So not only are you scoring at a higher clip, you're getting more assists at a higher clip in today's game.
Yeah, you do.
It's a lot that, like you said, is just brought up in the wrong era because I was watching a little bit of Washington, Atlanta, and Russ Westbrook bring the ball up, and you got Ish Smith running the lane. Ish Smith 5'11".
Yeah.
It would have never happened back in the day where, you got a small guy playing off the ball with another point guard on the floor. Like, where they play now, like your 2 guard don't have to be 6'6".
Yeah.
Everybody wanted a 6'6" 2 guard because Michael Jordan was 6'6". So you had to be 6'6" to play the 2, and up. So playing 2 small guards wasn't even happening back then.
No, it wasn't happening because
now it's normal on every team.
Yeah, because you think about the Bulls, they had Jordan 6'6", Harper 6'6", 6'7", Pippen 6'8", Robin 6'9". Then you had a big 7-footer. Everybody 6'6" and above. So it was tough in that era to play the way we would like to have played. Because I mean, I look at me. I think in one game, Terrell, like I see Steph Curry got up 21 threes. And I think the most threes I shot in the game might have been 10 or 12. And that was against Pfeiffer. And it was they want the press and trap. And it was fast paced. So I was able to go 8 for 12 from 3.
Yeah.
But we played inside out.
Yeah, inside out. Like I don't think I took. It weren't many games a year. I averaged a lot of points my senior year, like you did. You averaged a lot of points your senior year.
Yeah.
But the point, I didn't shoot a lot of threes. I probably shot 7. I think the game I had 50. I shot 8 threes.
Yeah.
If it was today's game, I probably shot 15.
Yeah, I think you might have shot 20. To be honest with you,
that 50 might have went to like 65. Or
exactly.
something.
Exactly.
Like I said before, like in our era. Playing in today's game, whatever we averaged back then, you could tack on 7 to 8 points to that average, and that's what we'll be averaging in today's game. The way the pace and the freedom, and just one thing these guys that on us that they are better at than us, because we didn't really have this kind of access, is they are more skilled than us.
Yeah,
the ball better. They got more moves because they're working with skilled trainers all the time when they're young age. Yeah. We grew up playing in the backyard, playing physical on dirt, so we can't dribble, so we're gonna be athletic and we can shoot. Yeah. We ain't out here dribbling and going crazy. But now these boys have so many skilled trainers that play the game, that's coming back showing a 10-year-old how to dribble and shoot. Like my son is 8, and he can handle the ball way better than I ever could at that age. Mm-hmm. But he's not tough as I was at that age.
Yeah. That's the difference. Is give and take. You gotta give something, take something.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, and look, one last thing. You brought up Russ, and then we're gonna end our segment right here. We're gonna end up everything. So, do you think they need to stop with the Russ hate, like his triple doubles? Because, like Terrell, this is the way I look at it. They give Steph Curry all this credit because he done brought the Warriors back and he playing out his mind, doing a whole lot of scoring. But Russ is doing the exact same thing. The exact same thing.
And they've been hating on Russ for so long. And when you do something like that, what he's doing, they hating on him because they're expecting it. Like they bored seeing it. Like that's not normal what this guy's doing. Nobody can do that. Like, ain't nobody doing that. Like, he about to break the record tonight.
Yeah.
Break the record tonight, and the hate need to stop. Steph is doing what he's doing, but the Wizards wasn't in playoff contention before the All-Star break.
Exactly.
Not like they was just being on this road all season. So Russ needs the credit for that because he got them at a point now where he's rolling and he's back to being Russell. I'm gonna get all these rebounds. I'm gonna get my teammates involved. I'm scoring. I'm gonna be this hard-nosed player that, going 100 miles per hour on every single play, just playing hard, leaving it all on the floor. And people like the flashiness of Steph. And Russ not flashy. He's just a hard-nosed, down-your-throat kind of player.
Yeah, but you bring that up, Terrell, like after the All-Star break. But before the All-Star break, see, Russ got a little bit of that old school in him. Russ was hurt. He wasn't 100% the first part of the year.
Yeah.
He was starting to get better towards All-Star break, and him not making the All-Star game was a blessing in disguise for him because he ain't have to worry. He didn't have to worry about none of that. Mm-hmm. And so, like, I think the Russ hate should stop because I get tired of people always talk about, they high calorie stats and this, that, and the third, and his teammates allowing him to do this and allow somebody gotta, if he getting 14, 15, 20 assists, somebody knocking down shots.
You gotta make shots. I mean, you gotta make shots. He gotta get rebounds. And Steph, what he's doing is great too. I mean, but somebody got to get Steph open. Somebody got to look for Steph to pass him the ball. He's not bringing the ball up every time. He's coming off a lot of screens.
A lot of them.
And they're looking for him so he can get them 10 threes or 8 threes and do that. Now, what he's doing is great, but what Russ doing is great too. It's just two different ways, and Russ should get just as much, as if not more credit than Steph Curry is getting right now, in my opinion.
And that's what I think too, Terrell. I want to get your opinion on it because way I looked at it is they talking about Steph should be in the MVP conversation. So why isn't Russ in the MVP conversation? Because what he's doing, Terrell, we've never seen it before.
Never seen, and he got them in playoff contention. You know, them awards are really based a lot on if your team win it or not. Obviously, your team have to win, and you got to be able to do some of those things. So his team is in the playoff contention. Steph's team is in the playoff contention. Russ is doing things that we never seen before. He's about to break the record, having another crazy averaging triple-double for the season. Like, if that's not MVP caliber, I don't know who else can be in the conversation if he's not.
I don't know either. And do you know, like Terrell, if I'm quoting it right, I don't think he has to get another assist
or a point
or points or rebounds, and he will average a triple double this year.
Average a triple double for the season. Like if your team is in playoff contention with one other All-Star, he's not playing with, you know, he got one other All-Star caliber player now. He ain't like he playing out here with so
yeah.
He got a mob out there. He just got him and Bradley Beal.
And Bradley Beal, yes.
Role players doing their job. They're good players, but what he's doing and got them in playoff contention with that team is definitely worthy of being not talked about in the All-Star in the MVP talk.
Yeah. All right. Well, I got one last question for you. So, you know, back everything is kind of getting back to normal. You know, we kind of, turn the curve on this pandemic. What is Clemson basketball going to look like this year? You looking forward to the season? You know, how are things going to come along?
Man, I think we're gonna have some surprises. I think we surprise people this year. I think we'll do the same next year because we don't have the names. You know, we don't have the big names and all that. We still trying to reshape our roster right now. So it's a lot that go into it. But our guys on a little break right now, and then we back to work at it in a couple of weeks. So we put the work in here, man. So we're gonna work hard. That's one thing we're gonna do. So we're gonna always be right there in the mix of getting back into the tournament. You know, it's just time for us to kind of take that jump and try to get over to start thinking about championship mentality instead of just getting to the tournament. But once we get there, we're going in the right direction. But this year, I think we're gonna surprise some people. It's not gonna come to us as easy as it did last year because we had like 10, 11 quality players. We played a lot of players every game. Like 10 players every game. It may not be like that this year, but the best part about it, we have a good group of core guys coming back that has experience in the ACC and that's ready to prove that they're all ACC caliber players. So as long as they keep that chip on their shoulder, we should be fine.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to the next basketball season. This year was kind of. It was kind of hit or miss, with the pandemic. Sometimes you might be playing, sometimes you won't. It was real tough, and I applaud, all the college teams for, and coaches and players for just being able to go out and just be able to do something because I know it was tough. You lived it.
You on edge every day because you get tested every day, so you don't know if they're gonna walk in the gym and say, okay, such and such tested positive today. Everybody out the gym.
Yeah,
that's every day, having that feeling every day. You don't know if that's going to happen and you're going to be shut down for 2 weeks. So it'll be good to get back to some kind of normalcy, obviously getting fans back. We was able to have a few fans this year, but to play in front of big crowds and because it was like playing in organized pickup game at some place because there's nobody in the gym. It takes away from the pressures of the game. With the fan crowd, a lot of people can't play in front of the big lights.
Exactly.
A lot of people play well in practice, and when nobody's around, nobody's watching. But when the lights come on, you got packed gym, you on the road, you down 5 with 2 minutes to go. Now, how you gonna play? But if the gym is empty and it don't feel like that kind of pressure, then that's why you was able to see some teams who normally don't be where they at in the standings was able to be there because the pressures of the game is a lot different with no fans.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like the bright lights are the biggest things. Like, we used to say it all the time. you know, you could get some people that we would pick to play at Up Church all day, every day. But if we had to play with them and went up under the whistle and all that good stuff, we wouldn't deal with them.
It's a different ball game.
It's a different ball game.
Yeah. And when you're getting coached, like, you know, when it's hard to explain to people that had been in those situations, but you've been in those situations. Like, getting coached and playing in a system is a lot different than going to Up Church and playing pickup. You know, some guys play well. Like, even, you know, some guys outplayed me at Up Church, but they could not play me in a real game because the coaching involved, the players involved, the strategies involved, the time is involved, the understanding when you need to go, when you don't, just the ins and outs of the game is different when you under the whistle.
Yeah. Well, Terrell, I just want to say I appreciate you coming on. You know, I asked you last week, and that's how it always been with me and you. You could ask me to do something, and I ask you to do something. It's always all out of love. You know, we always got each other back. Yeah, man. You know, I just want to say appreciate it. Keep doing what you're doing at Clemson, man. And you know, hopefully this season we get everything right. I get to see y'all play, you know, more games, and we get to play in front of crowds and all that good stuff.
Yeah, man. Hope so, man. Like you said, man. We don't talk every day, but you already know what it is. You know, we family, grew up together. You know my game inside and out. You know, you know how I am as a player and as a player. And like you said, we don't have to talk every day, but you know, we family. We always gonna be there for each other no matter what. Like, you call me, it wasn't no hesitation. Like, yo, when you want me to do it? And you know, I hit you up, and if I need something, you to look in for me something, you like, okay, let me know.
It's always like that.
So it's always like that. It's always gonna be like that. So I appreciate you, man, and keep doing what you're doing. Proud of you. You know, everything you're doing. You know, you got your hands in a lot of baskets, which I love to see. And keep doing your thing, man. We definitely proud of you and watching everything you do.
All right, cuz. I appreciate you. Hey, until next time, we'll talk again.
Already, cuz. You already know.
All right, Bo.
All right, Bo. I'll holler.